Fuck it, going loud. Hey guys, welcome back. Sauce and Amrath here to go over everything that maybe, you wanted to ask about 7 Days Alpha 17, but we're afraid to ask because we're here to ask the tough questions. And before I get started, just Amrath, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Been a busy couple of weeks for us.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've gone through all. It's now up to 1,885 pages of the forums to find out all this information that we've got. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're doing.
Not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes they're from England.
Yeah, all bored.
So, just because right now the video obviously is coming in right now. We're kind of reacting as well as going over some stuff that we dug up. And I guess we got kind of a semi-bombshell that we'll go ahead and bring up later on in this episode. But just to start off with, I mean, my initial reaction, and I'll pass it off to you, Amrath, is the game looks fucking gorgeous. It looks sexy. It looks like that girl that you liked back in high school but really couldn't make it with. And then maybe you're seeing her a couple years later, but she still looks really good because now she's trying out CrossFit. She's kind of douchey about it, but you're okay with it because she looks so fucking good. And that was my takeaway from this game. Just the look of it from what Joel's showing here. Is that it honestly, and this is like 100% seriousness, it reminds me of the first time I modded Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 after having played a little bit of the vanilla like textures and stuff, and just how even just minimal stuff that you would implement into the game had drastic changes, not only performance-wise, but also in appearance, and really it made it feel like a brand new game, and this game looks gorgeous.
Oh, and this is it. This is one of the new mapping systems they've put in. I think it's Geiger. They've got, which is a new thing for Alpha for Unity in 2018, and it's absolutely fantastic in terms of doing real dynamic maps. So gone are the chunky maps we used to see with the massive great big slopes going up and this and the other. These are, like you said, almost photorealistic in terms of its mountains, and that's what I think really makes this pop out for me.
And there's something that Joel ends up talking about 5 or 10 minutes from now as he's kind of wandering around, and that's that they've come up with a new system for and I forget the phrase that he used, but it was I think texture streaming, which I don't know. It's not like Netflix for you Netflix nerds out there, so you're not going to Netflix and chill while you're playing 7 days. But essentially what it is it allows for them to take, instead of having the full version of some kind of texture and then it just is shrunk down at a distance so it looks like it's farther away, it actually, from what I understood, like creates or uses a different texture for that distance viewing, so you're not using the full force of the file, it's using a very small portion of it and frees up just, like, I think it was 2 gigs almost of memory on the game, which is fucking massive.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, basically it's using a massive LOD truncation system. So basically when you're talking maybe I think he was saying 100 foot away, it drops down to like, I think he was saying 128 pixels for the images. So you think about that, that's a massive rendering saving.
And it really shows, I mean, like, from my perspective, the quality of the talent of people that they've brought in. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Joel or the original group of people that came in there, but different perspectives can inspire great new ideas, and it's really telling with all the amazing stuff we've seen from A16 and now A17, and going into the future into A18. The potential for this game is just ever increasing. I'm very, very excited for it.
Oh yeah, I mean everything looks right, doesn't it? The trees, as it looks. I mean, even the what do they call them? The ray of God,
God rays.
That comes, God rays that comes through. They're just absolutely superb. I mean, even if you look at the tires on here now, they actually look round. They don't look. Oh, sorry, Ness. They don't actually. Oops. This is one of the things he said. He actually worked on this gun as well. But now it's turned out to be chrome. It's like,
I'll be honest, I thought it was just like an homage to Metal Mario. I was okay with it.
No, if you actually notice when or we'll see in a little while when it switches it to another slot, it actually sorts out that texture, so there's something going wrong. And he also mentions about this crosshair as well.
The little floating block.
Yeah, he says again that somebody's been messing around with it and basically faked it up.
At least he's not name dropping, calling somebody out.
Yeah, I know. I mean, one of the things I've been watching is I actually have the 7 Days to Die upload system, and they uploaded to the public server that they have 21 hours ago for a brand new system. I mean, just look at that quality of the image there, where you zoomed in on the car and the background's blurred. The focal length is just, oh, I mean, it's turning it into a lot more polished.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it looks, like I said, absolutely impressive. I was completely blown away within like 10 seconds of watching the video of just how much different and better it looks. And it really reminds me, and I think I touched on this in one of the previous videos, but it reminds me of the big change they had when they went from Unity 4 to Unity 5. It so much felt like a brand new experience. I mean, the gameplay itself really hasn't changed hardly at all, other than minor, touch ups here and there and quality of life features. But the core gameplay hasn't changed. But it still feels like a brand new game with just the appearance being changed that much.
Yeah, it certainly does. It looks really, really good. And I think it's actually, if you actually look at his jar, I think he's actually, the water is again brand new within the jar itself as well. So
yeah, you can see the ripples on the water moving. Oh, I didn't even notice that before. Wow, that's intense. You can see it every time he moves. Like okay, all right, I'm with it. So just to go ahead and get moving into this stuff, guys. Actually, over the past couple of weeks since the last video we did, Amrath has been really chucking away. I think maybe he even got someone involved to help out. I don't know if he started yet or not. Can you confirm that yet, Amrath, by the way?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Messages out since then. But
okay, well, thanks a lot, guy. Anyways, Amrath himself has actually been doing the heavy lifting here for me. And we've got a list of stuff that he's picked up, but either from the forums. And why don't you just go ahead and detail where you got this stuff from really quick, and I'll start reading it off.
Basically, this is from the developer forums that Roland, and basically I've looked at Roland's, Fatal's, Gaz's, and there's another guy, I keep forgetting his freaking name in there, and they've been posting up on the forums as we've been going and going and going. Also, Prime did a Twitch stream with another of the developers, and they went through, and I've taken a lot of the information from there as well. So they have confirmed quite a few bits and pieces. I think Roland let a couple bit things slip, and there is a point in this video where, again, we do see not necessarily a slip, but we get a view of what's coming and how this is just going to be a complete overhaul, and the game's going to, again, change in the way that we have to play. Because I've seen a massive uproar with the actual community saying, oh no, you're taking this away, all the game's broken. Listen to community, put it all back. But I think when you get your hands on it, I think it's all going to be like, this is actually a completely new game, and it looks and plays, yeah.
We're glad the first time. Like they had huge complaints when they took out like the weapon molds where you could just smith guns off. I mean, every time there's a major change, there's a lot of complaining, pissing and moaning, and maybe some of the community leaves and never comes back. But I think for the most part, people just, they walk away for a bit. They actually come back and give it a chance. And once they kind of learn how to play again, then they're okay with it. And then they get mad when it gets, it's like whenever they change Doctor Who, you know what I mean? Every time the Doctor changes, there's a lot of pissing and moaning early on. And then within the first few episodes, most people are okay with it. They move on and they accept it. It's the 5 stages of grief, right? So anger and bargaining and all that stuff, and finally you just come to acceptance and you go ahead and move on with life. All right, so go ahead and jump on into this to go down the list of what we got here in front of me. I've got starter quest updated, so no longer do all the tutorial quests fill your screen with all the elements to be completed. Instead, they have been broken down into smaller, simpler tasks, still doing the overall same thing, but in little bite-sized sections. So gathering task shows first, and once that has been done, the craft task replaces it.
Yeah, so you can actually see, if you look in the top right-hand corner of the screen, we're seeing now that they've actually put it just a craft a bedroll, whereas before it was gather the fibre, then craft a bedroll. So they're splitting the gathering and the crafting quests down, so they're taking up less real estate in terms of what's going on. And this is an interesting one, but we'll come over to this one that you can see on the screen there as well.
Yeah, and I like this, and part of the reason that I'm, I mean, some people might, I don't see how you could complain about this, though I'm sure people will find a way. They're very creative, and I'm very proud of them for that, but I always get complaints when I'm not doing these quests whenever I'm streaming the game, and I don't do them because I've done it so many times, just not even having the quest, but doing it through the process, that I find it almost irrelevant, and I'll do it when I get to it, but more often than not, I never do the starter quest. Even like right now, as far along as I am in that current that series I'm in with right now with the server, I still haven't done the starter quests, and it's only because I haven't needed the points. If I was like 2 points away from something, if I'm already like leveling up anyways, I'm just gonna keep leveling and get it. If I need to buy something really quick, as far as a skill or perk or whatever it might be, and I'm 2 points away, I'll go do the starter quest really quick, pick up those easy. I think is it 5 points or 6 points? I don't remember how many points it is, but I'll pick up those points really quick and then move on with my business. So I end up turning it off half the time, but the fact that it's in this way, it's much more low key. I can appreciate that availability of screen space, and it's not as invasive as before.
Well, this is it. I mean, some of the quests, the bow and arrow, isn't it? If you look, there's what, 8 different elements within that bow and arrow quest that takes up virtually, half your screen on the right hand side. So instead, it's just going to be gather feathers, gather this, gather this. So it's all individuals. Oh, look at the castle.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that when I was looking at it. I was like, pretty amazed. I mean, this is Nava's game, which is kind of disappointing. I prefer when he does random gen because it feels much more. I don't want to say immersive, but it relates better to me. I feel like because I play in random gen and I don't know anyone that plays in Nava's game. I'm sure there's a community for it, but you go through the server list, you're not going to find very many populated Nava's game servers because no one wants to play on that. All right, so moving forward here, we've got mod slots. The club, bow, and stone axe have mod slots, but unknown mods available. This could be a result of the new mod system overriding the items themselves, or they actually have mod available. And so I'm guessing this is just kind of a comment made by Roland or somebody else. I'm surprised the stone axe has a mod slot. I really don't know what mod would fit into there. I'm thinking maybe something that would go over the stone axe to increase durability or return as far as what you're getting. I mean, something along those lines. But I like the fact that they're, not just putting these mod things on the weapons themselves and the guns and everything, but really thinking outside the box and saying, okay, instead of having like 2 separate items where you have a club and a spike club, you just have a club that has spikes on it, which is essentially what it is. So it makes 100% sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the mod slots ones, like for instance the stone axe and things like that. It's just going to be so you can color it, because obviously, as you see in the Shrek Club, as you called it earlier,
I believe they called it a Shrek Dick, sir, but yes,
Shrek Dick. I was being politically correct, but yeah. So I think that's what the mod is, where you can actually just put a color onto it. In terms of those, I can't in this we don't get to see it in this variation because it doesn't click on it. But I mean that. To me, that club looks a little bit different in terms of way it looks. It just looks crisper. I don't know.
It does. I mean, I think all the textures got a bump from the new lighting system. I think that helps everything. Because even the stone axe, and I don't think it's changed at all, but it looks better just based off the way the light's hitting it.
Yeah,
it's almost like the beer goggles effect of an ugly chick in a bar. You know what I mean? It's really dark. You can't really see. You're kind of drunk, so it looks better than what it really is.
And what gets me is why is he right clicking on the tree here? It's, you look at the animation, it looks like it's a power attack.
Oh yeah. So what I'm guessing then is, obviously right click being power attack, then if you power attack, you do more damage to the tree and maybe you get more return, or you chop it down faster, whatever it might be. And then the return of that is you get a tree chopped down faster, but you lose more stamina, so you can chop fewer trees sooner, or maybe you draw more attention. I don't know.
This is it. I mean, he's left clicking with the club, and then right click, whoomph, and he gets it still. So
do what you got to do. Yeah. All right,
yeah.
So moving on to new trader. So Trader Rect has been confirmed, but the comment states his favorite of all traders. Enlighten us about that.
This was Roland. He was doing a playthrough in one of the forums that I was looking at, and he was taking it day by day, and each time he's showing each connotation. And if you look up at the top right, we're on build 119, and I think it was in build 79 where Roland was talking about he went to visit the trader, and it was Trader Rect, and that Trader Rect is one of his confirmed favorite traders.
Probably based on the dialogue, I'm guessing, that he has, because they all have like a unique way of putting stuff. One thing, and not to go off topic here too much, but one thing I want to bring up while I still remember, the Buzzards now apparently will only attack you or have a very low chance of attacking you unless you've been injured or bleeding or something like that. So if you've been unharmed, and I'm guessing there's maybe a timer to determine if you're still harmed or not, or maybe your health has to be low or something, you know what I mean? They won't attack you, so those kind of fly around. So if there's one around you and you don't kill it immediately and you start fighting something and you get hit, then you've got to worry about the buzzard potentially jumping in and messing with you.
That's where he said. That's what Joel said. You know, the buzzer was flying around and said maybe it's because I've not lost any health yet or I've been hit. So that looks like it's going to be a decent mechanic that they're going to bring on for that one as well.
It's a really, really subtle thing, but I mean, it speaks volumes to the effort they're putting forth, 100%. All right, so moving forward more with the traders here. So dialogue options and quests. You can now choose to see what the traders are selling, get jobs or quests, information, and hand in finished quests. Also, quests from traders are marked on the map, not just left to random chance spawns. So what this tells me is that like you actually know where to go. It actually spawns where you're going to go. It's kind of the way they do the treasure chest, where there's nothing there until you get nearby it. I'm hoping that way someone else can't take advantage of it on a multiplayer server. When you get close enough within a certain range, it spawns whatever baddies it needs to inside. That way it already has predetermined the type of encounter you're going to have. That way it feels more unique versus just okay, find a random house like this and find this type of zombie in it. You know you come to the right house.
Yeah, no, the house said, and I think I've got a point further down, that you get different tier quests and this and the other. And actually, when you accept a quest, that actual building where you've got to go or whatever is actually then hijacked for that quest. It's totally cleared out, and the whole system's put into place for the big boss at the end that's put on there. What have you? So you've got either clear the sleepers out of the POI, you've got fetch the item from the POI, or find a hidden cache or item within the POI as well.
So the next thing we're going to go on here now is zombie behavior. According to the wisps of information, new strategies and base designs are needed due to how zombies react, although they are or were still not fully implemented. So it looks like zombies are going to have either different abilities or different personalities or something like that to determine maybe a more unique experience each horde night. Is that what I'm reading? Is that how I'm understanding it correctly?
Yeah, again, from some bits I've found that there's no new zombies, but they have new abilities. From what I'm reading, it's going to be very, very scary if you get any ferals or blood moon zombies. Gone are the days where you'll just say, "Oh, I'll just sit on the ground and I'll be fine." That's gone. There's a lot in terms of you can't have a tree house because
they dig trees now and everything else.
Yeah, zombies hate trees.
Well, that was a really broken mechanic. The fact is, you could literally just frame up into a tree, put frames around the tree so it was supported, and they wouldn't do damage to the tree. I'm not going to pretend like I've never taken advantage of it, but that doesn't mean it was a good mechanic to have. You've got to force me to do stuff. Otherwise, if I can find an easy way out of it, I'm going to use the easy way out of it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, this is it. So, it's going to make it, your base design is going to be a lot different. And this is something in the AI, in the zombie AI, so we've got a little bit later on, which is, as you can see, the zombie AI here, there's no more random running around in circles. It's coming straight at you, which is really, really cool. It's still got the jittery, annoying freaking head bop, so you can't get the headshots in. But,
that's good, though. That's good.
Oh, yeah. And the animation for it as well, this is one of the things. It hits you as it gets up. If you notice then, as you saw there, the zombie is still moving as it's trying to hit you, which is something it didn't do in 16. It actually stopped, did a hit animation, and then carried on moving forward to you. But this time, it's just continuously coming at you and hitting you.
All right, so the next section we've got is leveling up tools. There is a limited return on getting better at crafting by crafting component, and it seems like there is no perk or skill to tier up tools. Something is definitely different from A16, so it seems like they might be hinting that they're bringing back the concept of mass crafting items to actually level up, but I wonder if maybe they've got something in place where, like, okay, you can craft 100 axes and get 10 levels, but if you've crafted 100 axes in the last 10 minutes, every subsequent axe going forward is going to give you like a tenth of the percentage until you wait a certain period of time to kind of let your skill ability kind of like the way that Arcade used to have a system where you could do a bunch of stuff, but once you ran out of these points, it was basically fruitless. It was almost impossible, or I think it was actually impossible to move forward with leveling up certain skills or doing certain things to gain any kind of ground on it. You know what I mean? So it feels like that's a great idea, because I don't think if you're crafting something, you should not get better at it. but I don't want to be able to, in one night be level 600 in tools because I was able to craft 10,000 axes.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have some further information in terms of the second bit of information that we found in terms of that actually does address this for tools and for weapons as well, which is basically, as you can see, there is no numerical values to any of the tools or to any of the actual weapons. There's just a color, and this is this new. Obviously, the colors are from previous variations, and it goes all the way from beige to purple. But from my understanding, from what we've found out, that it doesn't increase the damage; it just increases the durability.
So basically, I think I read that as well. Is that basically that's in the second set of notes I have here, is that no matter the color, it's all 10 damage, for example, but based on your perks and your skills and mods you've attached, it could be 20 damage, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's where I've read from the whole system. It says weapon tier does not vastly increase the durability and number of mods. So, they're saying that, if you've got a purple tier shotgun, you can add more mods to that shotgun if you want to do so. But it's going to be those mods that do the damage and your skill in the shotgun that's going to do the damage.
Basically, it'll break a lot sooner, but you can do the same damage as a player that's been there a long time, minus any mods or skill points they've applied to that particular tree.
Yeah, it seems like that.
So the next thing here is going to be a new UI. Obviously, they're showing that in the video right here in the bottom left, where they've got the pluses and minuses showing stamina going up or down. The black bars, they're covering up parts that can only be replenished up to this point if you stop moving, so you have to eat and drink to keep that going. And a lot of people might be frustrated by that because they feel like, well, eating and drinking already was a pain. I like that. I mean, I want more of challenges like that where they're not easy, or they're easy to overcome. They're not difficult to overcome, but that they do require paying attention to, because this is a survival game after all, right? So we want to have to actually do survival-esque things, and that is really one of the cornerstones of a survival game.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a from what I've found, there is a twofold element. First of all, if we approach the UI, I've got a screenshot from Prime's video that he did, and it actually shows you another part of the UI, which will more likely be showing at this moment in time over the top of the screen. And if you took in the top left corner, you can actually see a party UI. So if you are obviously in a multiplayer party with your friends, you can actually see their name, you can see their health bar, you can see the direction they are from where you are and the distance you are from where you are without having to open the map up again. So in terms of multiplayer, that is a massive little game changer. You don't have to keep opening the map up to find out where your mates are. And, you can get to them, you can say, oh, they're in trouble. You can see how badly they're in trouble and this, that, and the other. And that is definitely going to be in because it confirmed that during the actual video.
No, I like that a lot. I mean, because as you said, right now, if you want to find a friend exactly where they're at, even if you don't have them marked or something like that, or even if you do have them marked, sometimes you know exactly which building they're in, something like that, or if they're in trouble, whatever it might be. The quicker you can get that information, the better it is, and the better your quality of life in a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly. The second one is you can actually, if we're back on the video now, when he's eating and drinking, you're getting these black areas disappearing. So the stamina one, when he ate some food, actually went back up to being full. Yep. Roland actually did this, and apparently it's you lose 1 food level per stamina regen, and you lose
full
1
regen,
water
right?
level. Yeah, and 1 water per stamina or health regen. So it looks like water's good. It looks like food has nothing to do with your health. It's just water that actually has a major influence now on your health.
Gotcha. And I think even in this video, Joel kind of mentions that I think I need to have water for my health. I think that's what's holding me back. So that obviously does correlate to the current video we're seeing.
Yeah, that's right.
So moving forward, the next thing here, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to back with the next 2, in fact, just so we can kind of, because I think this is a question mark that maybe you need to elaborate upon, but it says new perks referring to NPC, survivor, followers, factions, and settlements, and I wonder if that's even being implemented. They confirmed not adding bandits, obviously, but they never said they weren't adding the NPCs and the factions and settlements, which would be cool. And then rally points? Question mark.
Yeah, I couldn't find any much more than this. I think it was basically it was talking about that you could rally your team. You could say, right, we all got to be there, and you put all you. It's basically pinging on the map saying we're going to be here at this point. Just from what I could read of it, but it was very, very unclear. They were talking about it, but never gave you any details. And like Joel said in his tweet when he put out the last 3 images that he put out, you know, buy adult-sized diapers because you are going to shit yourself. You know, so I think this is coming into this point. But these new perks is referring to. I think it's from the traders that you're going to be getting these, but where it says survivor, follower, faction, and settlements, this is more the implementation for A18. You know, that these perks are going to relate to actually that kind of thing. That you're going to get bits and pieces for dealing with those, for, you know. So I think it's more like bargaining and
charisma-based type stuff as well, I'm guessing.
Charisma-based steps, yeah.
Okay, I like it. So the rally points, from what you're kind of describing to me, it sounds to me like it's a shared waypoint. It doesn't require saving and disappears once you're there. That way it's not just kind of a, okay, I've shared this, and now you've got it on your map, and you can't get rid of it. So if we share more, because we keep having to go to rally points, we're going to fill up both of our maps with all these fucking rally points. It'll be really annoying. So it sounds like it's just, again, a quality of life thing they're adding to improve team-based play, which is, you know, one of the core mechanics of this game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, it was sketchy details on that, but it was just one I had to point out because I think, like I said, it will help in terms of going forwards.
One thing I want to highlight really quick here, he just picked up the arrows off the corpse of that dead zombie, and it works, and I was hoping it would, but it works very much in the way that like an Elder Scrolls does, where you're shooting them and then you can grab the arrows right off of them. Now, and he's getting slapped around now, but I mean, and I like that because before you could shoot 20 arrows into something and then never get your arrows back. I mean, for one, maybe just shoot more accurately and hit him in the head. But that way, if you do miss whatever it is, or even if you hit, you can still get some of your arrows back, so you're not constantly crafting arrows. And it's, again, another great quality of life feature they're showing in this A17 video.
Yeah, well, it's not just actually, you can actually pick them out as you fired in them, so if you run it out, you can pick them out from the actual body that's coming at you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you watch, I think it's in about 10 seconds, he'll go back downstairs once he's obviously got rid of the zombie. The actual arrows stick into the actual scenery as well. If you watch, he's going to go downstairs, and here, look, the arrow's in the door jab, and he's just picked it up. So you can get your arrows, if you hit a building, you can pick your arrows back off of the building as well.
Yeah, no,
it's a percentage chance.
Okay, I was going to say, and it looks like not all of them can be as well, which is the way it should be, because obviously you're going to assume some are going to be damaged. And again, as Elder Scrolls does, it does a good job of not every single one can be recovered, but a good amount of them can be. And that's, and we've seen some more in the fence that he didn't grab either. He walked right past. But yeah, no, that's definitely a good thing to have. So the next couple ones are going to be zombie dogs able to dig, ? So it seems like maybe not just zombie dogs, but a number of them are going to be able to dig straight down. So if you do underground bases, that's not as viable as it once was. White River clan quests. So again, I have to wonder if they are implementing factions or if they're confirming them to be until A18, or they're just putting in the framework for everything. And then tier quests. And I'm guessing this refers to what level you are, how far along you are, something like that, based on where you're at in the game, how good the quality of the quests are, how difficult they're going to be, and the rewards you're getting from them as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my understanding was. The zombie dogs able to dig was a real scary one for me, because with the way the system's set up, I believe it's because obviously I don't know if they're bringing back the zombie dog hordes on day 6, I think it was, that they used to have it.
Dog days,
if you can imagine, the dog days. If you imagine a pack of dogs coming at you, they'll be able to hear you and see you. They're going to dig down. So if you've got an underground base, you're gone. The White River clan quests, basically your traders are White River. So that's where it's basically referring to there. So that they are the White River clan are all your traders, and that's what they've stated. Because if you actually look, all the traders will have some form of white clothing on them, and that's what distinguishes them there. And the tier quest, yeah, you were perfectly correct in what you're saying from what I've read, that you will get maybe a 2-time scope on a tier 3 quest,
Yep.
and maybe an 8-time scope on a tier 6 quest, and that kind of thing. So you should get better rewards as it goes up.
One thing I want to touch on really quick here is this desk that he's kind of messing with. And no disrespect intended with this, it looks really out of place. First of all, with the chair that is obviously one of the old textures, but the texture on that desk, just the appearance of like a lot of that new stuff they've added, like they've got that, and they've got the thing you just walked past right there, the radiator, and that lamp. I mean, everything looks so much better, and there's so much more life in the game, or I guess lack thereof. But just the world feels much more full, as if there actually were people living in these houses. Whereas before there was items in there, but there was only kind of a handful of stuff, and it was almost like someone had just moved in, or was moving out, or they just didn't have much furniture. And I guess I'm only speaking from my personal experience, but my house has always been full of like lamps and chairs and shit. I don't know about everybody else. And so it always felt very, I don't want to say barren, because it didn't feel barren, but it didn't feel quite right. And these things they've added have really added just a new kind of unstated element to the game that you really didn't notice was missing until it was something was, it was there, and you realize, okay, why wasn't that there before? That looks so much better.
Yeah, I mean, he has confirmed that the nightstand you saw just a couple of seconds ago, that's actually been replaced as well. They've got a new model for that one. So that's going to even make it even better. But that's what the one thing is. What they've said is the desk that you saw that had all the drawers open, that meant that the desk was not lootable. So there's no loot there, so there's no point in checking it. But it could be a case of the next time, possibly when they reset the loot tables, you go back and that desk is then lootable.
So the drawers will be closed, basically.
That's correct, yeah.
Ah, okay. That is, so I hope they add that to everything. Like this cooler, for example, could be open, that kind of thing.
They have.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Your cookers are open, your fridges are open. The coolers, I haven't seen if in terms of the coolers themselves, but I know your fridges, your cabinets, your microwaves, your cookers, your sinks, they all have new systems whereby you can see whether it's lootable or not.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so moving on here. So clear all sleepers in target POI, fetch an item from target POI, find a hidden cache in target POI, and then the next part, some quests require the clearing of houses from zombies. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the quest system that we were talking about earlier on. So you'll have 3 different types of quests. So they're not time limited. Like I said, it'll say, right, go to this house here, and it'll mark it on your map where you've got to go as well. So there's no more trying to figure it out. And it's precisely on the actual building location. And it'll say, right, this is what you've got to do. And it'll tell you from there. And it'll tell you what the quest reward will be. And it'll give you experience. I don't think it's giving you skill points. It's just giving you experience points. And you can actually see the experience bar on Joel's screen here. It's actually the little blue bit. It's just above the spade at this moment in time.
Yep,
so,
right up there.
Trying to take out a zombie with a shovel.
Yeah.
Classic.
I've done it before, but only out of frustration. I've never actually tried to kill a zombie. Like, okay, this is the primary weapon I'm going to use. Especially when there's like nothing else around. He's not like blocking axes. Just kind of usually just like, okay, well, I guess fuck off and walk away. Moving forward here. So zombies don't stop chasing. So that basically tells me that, or I'm hoping I'm not reading this right, but I'm hoping they do stop chasing after a certain point in time, and you don't like run away from them. And then like 10 minutes later, when you've gotten back to base and you don't see a zombie anywhere, the same guy just walks up behind you and smacks you when you're trying to put the keys in the door. And I would like that to be an optional feature myself, because I feel like some people would like that and some people wouldn't. And I'm kind of, I guess, torn on the issue. I wouldn't mind it if I want that extra element of difficulty, but I don't like the idea of zombies being able to chase me all the way across the map. I could see that causing memory leak issues.
I don't think they're going to chase you across the whole map. I think it's basically that they have a maximum range. I believe the maximum range is about 40 meters. And as long as they can hear you, they will. So they won't stop. So you basically have to run to get out there for 40-meter hearing range. But they will head in your general direction.
Gotcha. So you basically that might have been what fixed the spinning issues, where they like lost sight of you even though you weren't crouched or trying to hide, and that's why they spun. Maybe that's what fixed the problem.
Yeah, I think that's something where they got it with. Yeah.
All right, and then the next one, Stealth Eye is Gone, which I believe they end up either has already shown earlier in this video or is going to shortly. And basically, they have a little like sneak bar, and the way that I saw it looked like if the bar was full, you weren't being seen, or if it was empty, you were being seen, or it could be the complete reversal of that. But it seemed like the fullness of the bar determined being seen or not seen is the way that I saw it.
That's correct, and it's the reverse. It's if it's full, you're being seen. If it's low, it's not. And they've actually said that you can sneak past a zombie in a distance of 5 meters. Roland actually played that in one of the POIs, and he walked past. If you didn't have a light on, you were crouched and you went slowly, you weren't doing anything, he managed to get as close as 5 meters before the actual zombie sat up and took attention.
Gotcha. So it's also range based. I'm guessing there's going to be scent or noise, because it's impossible to not make any noise, right? No matter what any kind of Bethesda game will tell you, even if you're a maximum sneak and a ninja, you're going to make a little bit of noise, even if it's a heartbeat at the very least. But I like that they got rid of the eye. I mean, it was neat to have, but it kind of it broke the immersion a little bit for me, because it felt like, okay, am I playing a Bethesda game or am I playing 7 Days? Because it looks so very similar to the eye from from Elder Scrolls. And so I like that they got rid of that and they kind of implemented their own thing. It makes the game more unique. And the sky looks gorgeous right here.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, for me, it takes out one of my easy options of headshot zombies, because the eye you could just place over the top of the zombie when you're crouched, and that gave you the shot. Now I'm going to have to try and make it better.
I have to buy one of those little red dot things you stick to your monitor. Super cheese. So the next thing is AI pathing has, if can't reach player, go destroy nearest blocks. It will go to the nearest path to you. So it seems like they're getting that breadcrumb system working, in the sense of, if they can't see you, instead of just starting smacking everything around them, in anger, they're actually going to try to get back on your trail. And again, that's a really nice thing that they fixed, because I liked the concept of the breadcrumb system when they just start smacking random blocks. While it's convenient if I'm trying to live, the amount of difficulty involved in that is completely gone, right? So I would prefer that they make it difficult by having that.
Yeah. I mean, what they've said on this one is, what they basically do is the breadcrumb from the zombie to you, and they look at all permutations in that distance, and every block has a value, and it's health plus breakdown health. So, say for instance, it's a concrete wall, it breaks down into something else, breaks down and breaks down, so it adds all that together, and it looks for the path of least resistance to get to you. And this is one of the things that we're going to have to touch on now, because you brought it in. Zombies dig themselves. The ferals and the Blood Moon zombies will dig. So if you're underground by 10 meters, they will stand above you and dig down.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Again, I mean, I want that difficulty, because in its current state, the way that I've avoided Horde Nights when I just didn't want to have to fuck with it, I've literally just AFK'd in a random hole in the ground, let them chew up the ground above me, because they'll tear it up a little bit, but they wouldn't dig down straight to me. And so they really needed to add that feature. And that's something also that, and I've mentioned this a couple times, things that Horse have brought up, that it's hard for me to say, okay, well, you're wrong when saying that. Then, the reason you don't like this game is bullshit. And that was because he could build underground and avoid zombies. He felt like because of that lack of challenge, it ruined the experience for him. And I could see that ruining it for a number of people, because some people are like that. They want to have that challenge. And if they're not having it, it's like, well, why am I playing? So I think that adds, an interesting part of the game that it definitely needed to have from jump. So I like that they finally implemented that.
Yeah, I mean, we've just seen that there, where we should be around the. You've got 3 zombies upstairs. That was another thing that didn't work in Alpha 16. Zombies just used to mull around the bottom of the stairs. Now they're coming up and they're coming at you. If you look, they're coming directly for you, no matter what. So he's gone maybe 10 meters away, so they're still coming for you. Yep. So it looks like they're getting that quite right, which is basically going to make it a heck of a lot harder to start off with. That zombie with his arrows all over him.
So going on to the next page here, and kind of getting into some stuff that's going to make a lot of people sad if they weren't already aware of this, but it looks like the passenger ability, and this is specifically on vehicles, mind you, has been moved to A18. So, and the way I'm translating that, and you can confirm here for me, is that the Jeep will not allow passengers. I don't believe any other vehicle was going to, other than maybe the new motorcycle, but it looks like they've removed the ability to have a passenger in the Jeep, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, they actually had it enabled, and it is there within the system, and it's yeah, I believe you might be able to enable it through or something or other. But what Roland said was that the actual character was jittering around; it hadn't got it locked within the passenger seat. So unfortunately, for the time being, that's going to be a case of it's a no-go.
Sad face, but at least we're getting the Jeep. A cool new vehicle. Just means there's going to be the only downside is that now there's going to be a lot more people in Jeeps because everyone's going to want a Jeep. Why would you not want a Jeep? You know what I mean? Of course you're going to want it. More, I'm assuming also there's going to be, because something we'll go over here in a minute, but the storage space should be greater on a Jeep. But just to go ahead and run off a couple of these we can touch on. No taking parts off vehicles, just the mods. So once you assemble that vehicle, boom, that's it. Unlike the mini bike, where I'm guessing maybe they'll probably leave the mini bike alone for this, but once you build that vehicle, that's all there is to it. Vehicles are assembled via recipes, which means you actually have to, I guess, use a recipe to construct it. And then vehicles are drivable underwater, but at a slower rate. So that's the only reason why I think the mini bike might not be disassemblable. And the one reason why I'm okay with them not being disassemblable, because if they get caught in water and you can't do anything at all with them, that would be complete garbage. So the fact that they can still move through water definitely saves the day there.
Yeah, I mean, there's often many times I've gone over a cliff and there's like, I can't stop, and water. You get thrown off your mini bike disappears under the water, and that's it. It's just gone. But the problem being is, it slows you down under the water. So you're driving underwater, you're going to suffocate. You're going to drown.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you've got the ability to pop up and grab a gasp of air or whatever it might be. But hopefully it's, I mean, there's very rare instances, and yours is probably the one where you're going to get into a part that's deep enough where you can't get back out of it. Like, ideally, you're not going to try to drive to the bottom of freaking Lake Erie with a Jeep and hope to come out the other side without having to get some kind of air in the middle of it. But then it does also bring up the conversation other people have had of why haven't they implemented some kind of scuba tank system. And the reason at the moment is, at the very least, is because there's no reason to go underwater. Now, I think they're actually adding, and we've discussed this, things underwater, but I'm not anticipating there actually being structures or anything. I think at some point they might add that, where you can actually have a reason to go underwater for maybe just treasure chests, but also airdrops, buildings underground, special loot. And then you have to have, in a very Ark-esque way, having to have a scuba tank to get under there to get to that loot, which would be really neat to see. All right, so moving on to the next stuff here. Vehicles are crafted in a workbench, and once placed cannot be picked back up. So basically, as we said, you're going to use the recipe to make it, walk outside, boom, there's your Jeep, and you're ready to roll. Vehicles are able to have varying carrying capacity, which is kind of discussed. We're going to assume the Jeep probably has the most. I would like to see that it be so much more that it's completely ridiculous, because it's a Jeep and all that, especially without having passengers. Oh, he died again. But especially not having a passenger, you should be able to have a lot of storage space on there to make up for that. And then vehicles take damage from hitting objects, and at 0 health, engines stop working and needs fixing. And we've discussed that as well, I believe, with intro on the first video. But basically, people wanting to use the Jeep to ram a base repeatedly to be able to break in with it, I think the Jeep should break rather quickly. And I'm hoping they implement some kind of buff or debuff, if you will, if you're ramming a building that's land claimed, that the amount of damage is massive. That way they can't be used for base raiding.
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing that. They've not hit, like if you go through the whole, what you just covered there, you can't take the parts off just mods. So we don't know what the mods are going to be in terms of the vehicles, whether that's going to be a better engine or what have you.
Or colors.
So it might seem, it might just be the chassis that you put down that you can't pick back up again. But from my understanding, vehicles are able to have a varying carrying capacity. That seems like they're going to allow you to put different things onto different vehicles. Like on the minibike, you've got the shopping basket, haven't you? You might be able to put a secure storage unit onto the back of it.
Yep.
Something like that.
I would like that a lot. And also maybe that would implement to where maybe the type of storage you're putting on the back determines the strength of the storage. So like currently with a mini bike, you just have to use an AK or whatever to break it, and then you can get into the storage. Maybe with a Jeep, because there's going to be multiple storages, you have to break into each one individually to make it that much harder. And I would like to see that. Like, that's a very PvP focused thing, but it feels like something that should be pretty quick and easy to kind of implement.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if you could put a furnace on on the back of you.
Yeah,
Just take it as a
smelt on
mobile
the
home
go.
now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome. So the last little bit in the vehicle section here, and I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to you, Amrath. All the stuff you've organized, especially the second one, is fucking phenomenal, man. Mad props to you for this. But the gyrocopter is in the release, but only via the creative menu and will not be implemented in A18. So that's probably the first thing I'm going to try out once I actually get my hands on this, go into creative and fly around a little bit. But that also tells me that there's going to be a lot of modded servers that have this thing enabled where you have to, it's craftable, obviously similar to a Jeep. So I look forward to being able to, mess around on a server with this and maybe have some kind of gyrocopter race or fights or anything in between.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It was actually Fatals that said it's 70% ready, and they will have a recipe ready for Alpha 18.
They'll probably have a recipe ready through the modding community within about 24 hours. So let's go ahead and put let's go ahead and start taking bets on that one. So the next section, skills and abilities. I'm gonna go ahead and just burn through these really quick. You get enough points to get 2.5 full skill trees, so no min-maxing character. Challenge quests give XP, not skill points. I like that. Level 200 hard cap, confirmed attributes, strength, bag limit mod, agility, movement and shooting, and fortitude question mark. Perks and skill vastly different from A16. So this really is showing again that they've massively reworked the entire skill tree. And I'll have a couple screenshots that Amrath's been able to pick up to actually show some of this stuff early. But going back to the very first one, 2.5 full skill trees, that tells me that there's going to be X amount of skill trees. I'm going to guess probably 5 or 6. And you can only get 2.5 of them completely full. And that sounds to me kind of in the same way that, and I'm going to go ahead and use a really random thing here, but World of Warcraft, when I first started playing, each class you would play, there was a number of skill trees you could go down, but you only had so many points to get so far into them. So as we talked about before, the need for working with other people and specialization has even gotten that much more critical.
Well, this is it. This is one of the things that, and again, reading the forums, some even of the bigger YouTubers are saying, "Oh, you can't do that. No, don't touch the skill and perk points." I don't want to have to be forced to do this and the other. But for me, it's actually adding to the immersion of the game. You can't turn around and say, "Oh, I'm going to level up my blade skills, knowing full well I can take my shotgun skills or my building skills, or later on it's having no consequence." This is what they want to do. They want to make it the decision you make is going to have a detrimental consequence later down the line. You have to choose wisely and carefully what you're going to do, where you're going to go. So if you're in a party, you definitely will be able to turn around and say, right, you're the gun guy, you're the builder guy, you're the crafter guy, you're the scavenger guy, and that's your role. Whereas a solo person, it's really a case of, right, what am I going to do? What am I going to need? What do I need? Everyone, like they say, everyone will pump in the first 5 points everyone gets. 9 times out of 10, Sexy Saurus, straight in there. But now it's a case of, right, hang on, do I need the carrying capacity? So I'm going to put my first points into strength. And one of the screenshots you'll have seen is that you actually have perception now, which is going to be I think it's stealth and shooting, or marksman or something else. And you can see there's actually tiers. I think there's 7 or 8 tiers in actual fact. Oh no, close that down. There's a massive amount of tiers to it. So, it is going to be a lot. They're making it more RP, which is, I think can only make it better because then you have to work as a team, like you say.
Yeah, it really, again, highlights the importance of the individual in that group. So whereas sometimes people get lost in the fold, aren't as important, it really makes you choose your friends more wisely. And within your own group dynamic, it makes you much more relevant. Because in the past, where it was like, if I needed something and whoever was in charge of that wasn't doing it quickly enough, I would say, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. But now it's like, okay, I've got to have them making sure they're doing this so we can actually, as a group, progress further. You're only as the chain's only as strong as the weakest link, and this is really bringing that to the forefront. And I want that. I want that challenge, because that means that I have to not only push myself to be better, I have to push my people, the people around me to be better as well, to make sure that we're not failing because one person isn't putting forth the effort they need to. And maybe I'm just getting a little more critical of it, but that's my perspective when it comes to this game. Is I want to be the best, and I want everyone around me to be the best now as well, so that we can, as a group, take on any challenge that comes in front of us and not have a problem with it.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's unclear of the changes because, like we were saying, when you do the first starter quest, you get 5 skill points. I think that's going to be changing, possibly down. Um, we don't know from there. But the perks and the skills are vastly different. And we've seen from that screenshot that Joel, it's only a fraction of a millisecond on the video, but I managed to catch it. But you can see there straight away that you've got, these distinct individual skills. And the bag, as you can see, as you saw in Joel's video, you've only got 27 slots to start off with. You need your strength to boost that up. So are you going to sacrifice the ability to shoot a zombie for being able to carry more shit?
Yeah, tough decisions. I like it. The level 200 hard cap, honestly, I didn't know that it, I mean, maybe it's on modded servers or something, but as far as I'm aware, it's always been level 200. I've never seen it higher than that before. I like the challenge quest thing as well, where it's, you're getting the XP, not the skill points, because I feel like that again forces so much more focus on specialization. I like that they're doing that. But everything else, I mean, is pretty cut and dry based off that first line of the 2.5 skill trees.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to that bit.
All right, so next section we're moving on to here is weapons. Once mods have been attached to guns, they cannot be taken off but can be replaced. And so I think that what that's saying is you can't just drag it off to switch it to the new gun. You've got to actually put something in its place to pop it off, basically. Hopefully you don't lose the mod entirely. Weapon tier is... Oh, you do?
Yeah. What they've said basically, yeah. Again, a consequence of systems. And Roland actually said it in the forum quite distinctly. You're putting a mod onto a weapon that is not designed for. You're using cross-threaded screws. You're half-assing it into a gun that it's not designed for. You're not going to be able to get it out without damaging it, without ruining it. So what they're saying is you can put these mods onto your guns. You can replace the mods on your guns or your weapons or what have you, but you cannot take them back. Once they're on, that's it. That way then you're having to go out. So if you put let's for instance say you put I don't know, your 4x scope on your shotgun by accident, you can't just take it off and switch it to your sniper rifle when you get one. You're gonna have to go out and get a new 4x scope.
Fucking hell. They are not playing around with this shit. So I guess moving forward, sad face. Weapon tier does not vastly increase damage. Oh, we already discussed this. Basically, the tier of your gun doesn't determine the damage. It's the mods and your skills and everything else. So the next part is clubs have mod slots allowing for nails and reported to be able to set on fire, which is kind of cool. So you can use the weapon as a torch. So it seems like maybe you can have a flaming sword, if you will. If you're a Game of Thrones fan out there, you know who I'm talking about. So you not only can you see where you're going, but you can see who you're lighting on fire. And this brings a whole new meaning to zombie raves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a cool one that, and that would explain why you can have the green Shrek dick. That's a mod, so you can, you might be able, it might be tallow you put over it, it might be some cloth you put onto it and set that fire. So you've actually got then a flaming club. Because how many times do we walk around with a torch and try and whack the zombie because we need to be able to see, but be able to hit the zombie at the same time.
So really, it's kind of a helping hand to the early game, just a little bit. But obviously they've strengthened the late game, so they're doing a much better job of balancing the different stages of the game itself.
Hmm. And there's a clip of Roland actually taking his club, and he's got a set of nails, and just dropping the nails into the mod slot, and then it becomes a nail club. So we know that one is going to be there as well.
I love it. All right, so zombies. So we've talked about some of the stuff already. No new zombies, but some have new abilities. Zombies now destroy trees and can dig. That's the Pharaoh and Blood Moon ones. New AI pathing finds shortest, easiest distance to. That's the breadcrumb. And zombies can be distracted by thrown stones. Now, this is something that I thought had been in the game, and I guess maybe they've removed it and are re-adding it, or maybe it got bugged and they're fixing it. But that's something that, it's a pretty obvious thing. Like, they're going to follow noise. You throw a stone behind them and they don't see you yet, they're going to go towards the stone. It's a pretty obvious thing.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's some, we've lost this. The smell thing's not coming back, and they don't think it's coming back either for A18. So, you throw, if you've not got a light on you, you're not making any noise. If you throw a stone, the sleeper is going to walk away, which then is going to obviously, allow you to either get past it or take it out a little bit easier.
All right, so next section is going to be just kind of some other stuff. Stealth only appears when crouched, but the eye is no longer enabled. I'm already going over that. Health bars on zombies only available in DM mode or debug mode, which is good. New part UIs showing party members in health direction and distance. We've gone over that. XP sharing, we've touched on that before. It's pretty standard thing like Arc or whatever. You know, as you're getting XP, it's going to be shared. I believe that actually, and if you can elaborate upon this, that's meaning what we thought it was. It's not just quest based, but everything based, right?
Yeah, it's everything based. But I really hope they've actually taken the time in terms of Rust. And this is when I was trying to do the video myself. But in Rust, you had XP sharing when people would used to do different crafting things, and everybody got a big chunk of sharing. So it was exploited. So I hope they've balanced it. That there's no exploit there. That, you know, I'm crafting a gun, you're crafting some axes, and someone else is crafting some other bits and pieces, that we don't get too much of the experience from that actually exploits it to the greatest extent, and then everybody's higher level on it.
Yeah, so basically you're saying that you can't like take someone's Smurf account or whatever and help them level up that much faster by just crafting end game stuff when they're nearby. There should be either a cap or like a percentage based on your level. So if you're max level, you're going to get the 10% share. If you're the first level and something level 200, you're going to get like 1% or a 0.5% or something like that. So basically it scales with your level.
Either that or the actual person you're sharing with only gets like, 0.5% of an XP, while you're getting 3%. And maybe if you, all right, and if you're sharing, if you're not sharing, you get 5%, and then do you know what I mean? So each XP has a specific value, and for however many people are there, it shares it out. You get the lion's share, but then shares a proportion out of that to other people.
Next one here is about the map. We've talked about this a little bit, but basically maps are being reduced down to 64 square kilometers rather than 314 square kilometers. All this obviously can be modded in the XML files, which is, I think that was pretty obvious to begin with. I don't know that how many people have messed around with it, but it's really difficult to do, so it's not advised. I've tried doing it. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. But so that's again, I like that. It's shrinking everything in, bringing everyone closer. Obviously, should vastly improve the performance of the game itself. Single-player games are now local multiplayer games, and again, I don't know if that's related to how the physics operate in single-player, causing maybe more lag or something. Hopefully, that is again improving in performance for people that want to play those local single-player games. This is a big one here, and I think this is going to be really helpful to multiplayer community. Maps are pre-genned before and stored like Nova's game maps. So that's why a big reason why Nova's game is actually much better in performance than random gen is they already have all the information and the files and everything in the server itself, as well as probably locally, I would imagine. But basically, I would hope it wouldn't be local, because then it could be exploitable. People could figure out where everything's at easily. But the idea is that I guess they could anyways if they just went into use the seed, but they're hiding the seed, doesn't matter. Anyways, point I'm making is that it's going to improve performance. I'm a huge fan of that. I love it.
Oh yeah, it is a distinct performance increase. That's why they've done it. What they said was the original map that you start off with in Alpha 16 is a 10-kilometer radius, which obviously then is 20 kilometers diameter. Pi r squared gives you 314.
Math.
Yeah, math. But they've actually confirmed now that it's actually a square map rather than a circular map.
Interesting.
Yeah. But also, when you're talking about in the XML files, I believe, and I forgot the guy's name again, but one of the developers turned around and said that it's actually not going to be in the XML files. He's saying it's actually possibly going to be in your server config files. You'll be able to basically switch it out. They're saying that 8 kilometer squared is the stable that they've gone on, but it's certainly not the limit. So they are going to allow you potentially just to change it quite easy.
I have to wonder, and this goes back to a number of things I've talked about, if that's going to move you to modded lists, because there's some of these features that you can modify in that server config file that will and won't move you. Like, for example, land claim strength. The default is 4 and 4, online, offline, and if you modify that, it doesn't move you to the modded list, and that's something I hope they fix as well, because I think right now that's currently bugged, but neither here nor there. So I'm hoping that's one of the features that doesn't move you to modded list, because that feels like something that should, it shouldn't determine if it's a quote unquote modded game or not. It should just maybe you can put it in there, massive map, and attract more attention.
Yeah, I think it will be, because I mean anything I believe that's part and parcel of the actual initial system shouldn't move you at all.
And then the last couple bits here we've actually gone over. It's lose 1 food per stam regen, lose 1 water per stam health regen. It seems to be the way to go. I mean, I don't know that I would change that at all. It seems pretty smart, and I'm hoping that it's broken down in the sense of, like, if you regen, your stamina or whatever, by 20%, you use 20% of you use 0.2 food. That way it's not like you regen 20%, but you still lose 1 food. I'm hoping that they've got that incorporated correctly. And it looked like in the video that they did.
Yeah, I mean, Roland said that he did a few 60-minute days, and he only lost maybe half. So that black bit of the bar that you saw when Joe was playing, that's the food that is lost. So if you're down to 75 food, your maximum stamina can only be 75% of what it is.
Makes sense. So now, just for the end a little bit here, we're going to kind of go over the news I was talking about. We have I don't know how to word this, maybe Amrath would word it differently, but I would say a confirmed rumor comes from a reliable enough source to take it seriously, and that is A17 Experimental will be released to the streamers the 2nd week of September, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that within a week of that, so by the 3rd week of September, we should be seeing Alpha 17 for the rest of us, so we can actually be enjoying that as soon as possible. I'm going to go ahead and link below the video that Amrath showed me in that. And Amrath, if you want to go ahead and just elaborate upon that.
Yeah, basically, the YouTube, well, there's actually been a few more that's actually confirmed it now. Several YouTubers have got an email sent saying Alpha 17 Experimental is due very, very shortly. They said it wasn't going to be, obviously, last weekend. No, this weekend. Well, what day? Well, we're on Sunday now. So it wasn't this weekend it was going to be dropping. But then the YouTuber turned around and said, well, it won't be next weekend, because if they're releasing it on the Friday to the YouTubers, that means it's going to be released to the general public on the Monday, because they're going to give the YouTubers a weekend to stream it. So we're going to get it on the Monday. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 3rd of September in America is Labor Day.
I believe it's the 2nd. Let me pull up my calendar here. But it's the 2nd, I'm pretty sure. It might be the 3rd. Actually, I think it is the 3rd. You're right. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the weekend it's Labor Day weekend, basically bank holiday for us, like in the UK and that kind of thing. So they definitely wouldn't do it then, because obviously bug fixing, problem solving, server configurations, and this and the other. There'll be nobody around. Everybody's going home for Labor Day. So it seems like they're pushing it beyond that one, so that's going to be the 7th released for streamers and the 10th released potentially for us normal folk.
Sounds good.
Keeping my fingers crossed on board now.
So yeah, guys, thanks for listening, and again, thanks to Amrath for the fucking dedicated work he did here. This was massively impressive. I'm not sure why I'm even asking. We're still looking for research, like I said, so we can maybe take some of the workload off of him. Because
I'm back at work this week.
Yeah, he's back at work this week, and I just don't. I mean, because I am at work on a regular basis, I don't have the time available to completely scour the forums every day. I guess I could take a couple days off each week instead of streaming into it. Hint, hint. Maybe someone will step up so I can keep streaming. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to follow myself and Amrath on Twitch, YouTube, everything. I'll post links down below. And thanks for doing this, Amrath. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, I had fun finding out, and hopefully we're not going to be too long before we're actually sat there playing it and running around in Jeeps.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Bye.